AITA. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help a wheelchair-bound person while at work? I'm a waitress. I work as a waitress to finance my studies. I'm not in the US, so I don't rely on tips. Last night, we had a guest who was wheelchair-bound. After a while she called me over and said, and I quote, "I will need help to use the toilet." I was confused and asked if she wanted me to get someone for her. I now realize that this didn't make sense, but in the moment I thought maybe her carer/assistant, don't know the right word, sorry, had gone walkabout. She said that no, she will need my help. She wanted me to come into the stall with her to help undress and hop on the loo. I politely said that I would be unable to do that, but I'd be happy to call someone for her. She was very displeased and asked to speak to the manager. She thankfully backed me up, but the lady ended up leaving a nasty review. I am just completely unsure. I don't know if I reacted wrong. Should I have helped? Please tell me whether I was wrong. Wow. That's a lot to ask your waitress. Absolutely NTA. Not the a-hole. From the title I thought maybe they needed help using a ramp or something, but taking someone to the toilet and undressing them is super unreasonable. It would break all kinds of health and safety regulations, especially if the woman fell or was dropped. Literally any corporate lawyer would tell you to absolutely never handle a customer, physically. Like, it's not in your job description, you aren't trained to do it, don't frocking do it. I remember working retail, and any time someone fell in the store, happened a few times, just the volume of customers, slick floors from rain, and the occasional jackass thinking they'll get money for slipping on water they spilled, we absolutely were never allowed to help them up. We could offer to bring them a chair, which they could use to lift themselves up, but you never, ever, ever, ever take responsibility for their physical state by touching, lifting, etc. them. Ever. NTA. Not the a-hole. You're not a healthcare aide/medical worker, nor is that part of your job description. So many things can go wrong, if she were to fall or say she was assaulted, etc. NTA. To arm yourself for future encounters, you might want to look at what federal and local regulations you can use to cover yourself and the restaurant. Especially now with COVID and other health and safety requirements, it's not sanitary to be helping someone in the bathroom and resume waitressing for other customers. I wouldn't want my waiter/waitress to be helping someone they don't know in a bathroom stall, and then bring me a plate of food no matter how much hand washing they do. Look for some kind of health and safety regulation that you can use, to explain why the restaurant was unable to do what this customer asked and reply to the bad review. That way it's not the restaurant's fault and you're not being cold-hearted. You are just abiding by government rules. NTA. Part of me thinks she was a scammer, planning to fake an injury and sue the restaurant. There's no way that the average waitress is actually willing to do that. I would be too worried about not offering support in the right way, and causing some sort of harm. I hesitate to accuse anyone of attempting fraud, but, having literally watched a woman lay down behind my manager, and then cry out to pretend she'd fallen, then demanded that her whole family be given a steak dinner with alcoholic beverages or she'd sue, I can't think of a more likely explanation than that this was an attempt to scam you. NTA. I am a wheelchair user and this is completely out of line, and not your job. I don't know what disability laws are like in your country either, but in the USA, the ADA most definitely does not require that level of assistance as a reasonable accommodation. Plus, it could open you up to lawsuits if you were to injure her somehow. I'm appalled that she even asked, honestly, because as a wheelchair user myself, I most definitely would not want a stranger helping me on the toilet. Yikes, lol. Just a heads up though, the correct term is wheelchair user, not wheelchair bound. See, we are not bound by our wheelchairs. We are freed by them, We are able to do so many things that we would be unable to do without them. But don't worry, lots of people make that mistake. NTA. That goes above the duties of a waitress. I'm going to go with NTA here. You're a waitress, not a healthcare aide. NTA. Not the a-hole in any way, even less the a-hole because you clearly feel some type of way about it, whereas a lot of people would be outraged at being asked, and then laugh about it or ridicule the woman later on. You are trained as a waitress, nothing more. I don't know who in their right mind would ask a waiter/waitress to physically help them out on the toilet. She's aware you are handling/serving food right. Baffling. NTA. It is not part of your work duties to assist the customers on the loo. If she needs help, then she brings someone with her to assist her. I'd like to see her review. The waitress refused to wipe my ass on the toilet. Horrible customer service. Do not recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. WTF. Absolutely NTA. I used to be a server bartender and now I'm a front of house manager. There is no world, no reality that exists where I would ever, and I mean frocking ever, take a customer into the stall and help them use the bathroom. I don't give a shoot who it is. If it is not someone directly related to me that I am caring for, that would never happen. I don't know what the frock that lady was thinking. NTA. It's a shitty situation, no pun intended, LOL, all around, and I absolutely feel for her, but you are likely not trained to assist someone who is wheelchair-bound navigate the restroom, never mind it not being anywhere close to your responsibility as a server. NTA. A little push if she had to go up a ramp, maybe holding the door open for her, sure. Anything else is not your responsibility and you are not trained for that, you both could get hurt. NTA. As a restaurant owner, never help with any request like this. This is a huge liability issue and totally unreasonable. I'm not in a wheelchair, but I'm 100% disabled. I don't eat out because I know my limitations. The review should have a response. Any sane person will understand why you didn't help. I'm sorry this happened. NTA. I'm curious if she's shopping around for a new place, where the workers are so nice that they'd wipe her butt for her. As in, a previous favorite spot finally got fed up and told her they won't do that for her anymore. NTA. That's a very uncomfortable situation. I don't blame you. NTA. If she fell and injured herself while you were helping her, you might well be personally liable. Personally, I would not take that risk for a serving job. I work in a medical facility, administrative role, and have been directed to never, ever touch or handle a patient unless I have been specifically trained to assist. I'll push a wheelchair anywhere on our large campus, but the patient has to get themselves into the chair. NTA. I'm in a chair and would never ask that. NTA. Even in the US, that request would have been very inappropriate. The manager or owner should post a rebuttal to the nasty review she left because wow. That was inappropriate for her to ask that of someone who doesn't have the proper training. You could have gotten hurt, or she could have. NTA. I'm a wheelchair user, a phrase preferable to wheelchair-bound BTW. This is a very strange request to give to a waitress. If she truly needed help using the bathroom in that moment, she would almost certainly be frantic and apologetic, not acting like this was a totally normal thing to ask. Unless this person has mental deficits, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a scammer who seeks out lawsuits for a living. I can just picture a sweet, new waitress eagerly trying to help that person out even though it's way beyond the scope of her job duties, and then the lady intentionally crashes to the floor with all sorts of exaggerated injuries, plus emotional damages. You might have dodged a bullet.